Good afternoon, I'm Crimson Skies, and welcome to day 6 of my Entropia journey. Starting off my gaming session, considering how well yesterday went with my quests, I decided to continue it. Quickly accepting another quest from a researcher, he asked me to go collect some devices that had been left in the cave where I had rescued the other scientists. So I made my way back to the cave. Once inside, I quickly engaged a couple of the mobs. But to my dismay, these guys were much stronger than the ones I had cleared out yesterday, so I turned tail and ran. Going back to the science outpost, I found another quest to complete. This one seemed much easier to do. All he needed was for me to just walk along the island and get to every marked point. Now, I did actually decide to walk the whole thing, and it took me a decent amount of time to complete. This island is a bit bigger than I had initially thought it was. After returning to the science outpost and speaking with Taylor, he then asked me to hunt Argonauts for the iron found inside them. And so, I hunted them down until I got 10 of the Argonaut iron. With the iron in hand, I returned to Taylor, in which he rewards me with 2,400 universal ammo. Now, that didn't really cover the cost of the ammo I had used, so I was a little disappointed. With this, I decided I would take a break from questing. Choosing to return to Port Atlantis, I saw the building with the words Bank Never Die and figured I'd go check it out. Now, there were these, what I assumed to be makeshift shops out front of the building. I proceeded to head inside and, wow, people were just trying to sell things in here. I mean, they were everywhere. Mannequins in the corner, objects laid out all over the floor. I felt like I had just wandered into a bazaar of some sort. So, feeling just a little overwhelmed, I turned around and left. Now, going back to that economy room I had found the blueprints before, I figured I could put that new blueprint I had found to work. Going to the construction machine, I seemed to already be able to use it 6 times. And so, I let it run its course, managing to fail all 6 times. So, I went to the auction. Buying up more oil, I managed to run the blueprint 50 more times. This time, with a greater variety of success, near success, and failed. This is when I kind of learned that the blueprint had a quality rating, and when you buy one, it basically starts at 0 and gradually goes up as you continue to craft with that blueprint. Out of curiosity, I decided to look at the auction to see if I could just buy a higher quality blueprint. But people were obviously not selling them for cheap. It was interesting, though, that I could sell or buy a blueprint in higher quality. It doesn't just reset when sold. Now, selling just about all the loot that I had collected at this point, I go to buy more oil and Listerium and continue my crafting addiction. For, well, 16 more attempts at least. With that, I figure I go do some hunting. Remembering that those Exarosaurs drop some decent loot, at least compared to anything I've hunted so far, I went out to go hunt them to see just how much I could get. And almost immediately, only my 4th kill, I had already gotten a 0.45 ped animal muscle oil loot drop with a 0.3 ped shrapnel, together giving me 0.7 ped in one drop. That's just a single drop. My hopes are pretty high after this. The kill after that, 0.14 shrapnel. Periodically, after that for a bit, I got like a couple of 0.1s, but nothing too major. Until I got a literal 1.38 ped worth of shrapnel in a drop. The kill after that, literally after that, 0.31. 2 kills later, 1.61 ped. A few more after that, a tier 2 component with 0.42. I mean, holy cow. These are pretty good compared to anything I've literally done up to this point. So, I hunted at least a short while longer, but nothing really noteworthy beyond this point, eventually deciding to head back to Port Atlantis, with the ones I actually listed adding up to 4.56 ped. I feel like this was a pretty solid hunt. However, at this moment, I'm not too certain how much universal ammo costs, so I'll later on, maybe in a separate video or something, I'll have to do some math and maybe compare this hunt to how much I spent compared to how much I made to actually see if I made a profit or at least even out. I'm not too sure, but nonetheless, I was super happy. Back at Port Atlantis, selling everything I had looted, and then buying more oil and Listerium to craft more basic filters. This time, I had 131 attempts, and boy was I excited to try this out and improve my blueprints rating. But I wasn't done. I needed to do it more. Selling most of my shrapnel, purchased more resources. This time, I had 300 attempts. And with all that waiting done, I needed to go do something. So I ran back to those exorosaurs to do a bit more hunting. Boy, oh boy, did I hunt for a good long while. But eventually, deciding to take a break, I went back to Port Atlantis to sell the loot I had made. Deciding if I should maybe try to buy a deed, I looked at the prices, but figured I wasn't going to actually be able to afford it. So, feeling tired at this point, I decided to call it a day. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.